Your family's approval won't heal you. Yes, of course, the age-old belief that if you just do enough, if you just achieve enough, or if you become the perfect version of yourself, they'll finally see you. They'll finally understand you. Oh, the thoughts we whisper to ourselves in the quiet corners of our mind, these desperate little bargains with reality, clinging to the idea that validation will come only if we contort ourselves into the right shape, like a lovely Cirque du Soleil act. Well, maybe if I prove myself, they'll respect me. If I just explain it the right way, they'll finally get me. Or one day they'll acknowledge how much I've changed. Dearest reader, I regret to inform you that this is a fiction of the highest order, and yet so many of us remain actors in this unending play, hoping, praying that the final act will bring the resolution we crave. I'm Dylan Moore, author, cognitive behavior specialist, and dedicated advocate for healing on a global scale. Your trusted guide through the absurd social expectations that keep people stuck in a labyrinth of self-imposed chaos. Now, I suggest we launch a delightful rebellion against the emotional nonsense and absurdities we've been conditioned to tolerate for far too long. In today's discourse, let's dismantle the limiting beliefs and expose the attempts of small-minded individuals who insist on gaslighting others into self-doubt, and call out the ludicrous psychological gymnastics that keep people trapped in niceties at their own expense. Today, we dismantle the illusion that the family who hurt you must also be the ones to validate your healing. Because here's the truth. They don't want you to realize you don't need their approval in order to be whole. A word on why their approval will never fill that void. If you're still holding out hope that one day they'll acknowledge your worth, let's consider the reality of this situation. You were conditioned to seek external validation. They actually trained you to look to them for approval, yet conveniently, that approval was always just out of reach. You were raised to believe their opinion defines you. If they didn't acknowledge your success, did it even happen? Spoiler, yes, it did. You were led to believe that their love was conditional, and so you spent your life auditioning for the role of worthy child, hoping one day that they'd finally cast you. They benefit from keeping you in pursuit. If you're always chasing their validation, you'll never stop long enough to ask why it was withheld in the first place. Oh, so convenient. Let's be clear. If their approval was ever meant to be given freely, you wouldn't have had to fight for it. Now, a bit on the hidden cost of chasing their validation. If you finally got their approval, what would it actually change? Would you suddenly feel whole, or would you just move past the goalpost, still seeking more? Would it undo the years of you feeling unseen, or would it merely distract you from the work of actually healing? Would their validation rewrite your worth, or would you realize that your worth was never theirs to grant in the first place? The truth is, if your peace depends upon their acceptance, they own you, and that, my dear, is no way to live. Now, how to free yourself from the approval trap? Acknowledge that they may never give you what you seek, and breathe, because the realization is where freedom begins. Redefine success on your own terms. If they weren't watching, what fulfillment would look like to you? Recognize that you always were enough. You didn't need to earn their love. The fact that they made you think so says more about them than it ever did about you. Decide that your approval is the only one that matters. The moment you stop seeking their validation, you take your power back. And now, a most scandalous realization. For those who have spent a lifetime shrinking, contorting, and proving themselves, I give you this most delicious, rebellious truth. If your worth is up for debate, then you were never one doing the debating. They were. The world has long conditioned us to believe, to value in the hands of those least qualified to hold it. And yet, here we are, still waiting for the applause from the very people who refused to clap when we needed it most. But We're not here to wait. We're not here to perform. We are here to reclaim and rebuild and to walk away from the negotiation table with our worth intact. So tell me, who taught you that their approval defined you? And more importantly, who benefits if you keep believing this? Drop a like or comment below, and let's normalize self-validation as a standard, not the exception. Together we rise, together we thrive. Let's rise fierce into a new life of personal power and freedom.